Hello there and welcome to my channel. So today I'll be showing us how I made these delicious spaghettini and meatballs, and here are the ingredients I used for making the meatball sauce. So first of all, we have a good sized onions, 4 cloves of garlic, a piece of ginger, 1 sweet pepper, and 9 pieces of fresh tomatoes. So I'm going to go ahead and blend this for the meatball sauce and come back. And also here are the other ingredients I used for the meatball sauce. So we have 1 cup of canola oil and another onion, not the first one, we blended the first one. So this one is half of another onion. You cut it in pieces for frying the sauce. So I have the spices here, some salt, some curry powder, thyme, and bouillon powder. I used knorr powder. So I'm going to go ahead and caramelize the onion, and then when it's caramelized, we'll go ahead and add the tomatoes and other ingredients that I have blended together. So I'm going to be leaving the link in the description box, the quantities I used for everything. So while the sauce gets ready, while it cooks, we'll go ahead and prepare the meatballs themselves. So here is what I used for the meatball. I used 1 kg of lean minced meat, minced beef actually, and 1/3 cup of Italian style breadcrumbs. So this is the exact type of one that I used. I have 2 eggs and the other remaining half of the onion, cut it up in tiny pieces, 1/3 cup of liquid milk. So we have here salt, crushed pepper, curry powder, garlic powder, and knorr bouillon powder. So I'm going to go ahead and soak the breadcrumbs with the liquid milk and mix it all up. So if you don't like to see onions in what you are eating, you can go ahead and use onion powder instead of fresh onions. So I've added the eggs right here, mix it all up, and add the spices and seasoning and mix them up as well. So when I'm done mixing, I'm going to make a well in the beef that I'm using and put the onions right inside and pour in the mixture of the breadcrumbs and seasonings. And then I'm going to go ahead and wash my hands once again to get them moist. And then I prefer to use my hands and mix them. You mix everything up so that everything is incorporated into each other. So you need to use your hand and make sure that the clumps of beef are mashed so that every piece of the meat can have the seasoning incorporated into it. So here we are. I have mixed up the whole ingredients. So I'm going to go ahead and roll them up. And you need to also wet your hands again. Make sure that your hands are moist because it helps you to roll the meat balls well. So whenever you feel that the meatballs, trying to roll it, is getting too sticky, you go ahead and dip your hand in water, or you can wash your hands and start again. So you just go ahead and roll them all into medium-sized balls. You don't want them to be too big so that they can cook through. So I'm going to go ahead and roll them up and come back. So here we are. Here is the finished product of the rolled meatballs, and then I'm going to go ahead and check our meatball sauce. So the meatball sauce is more or less like regular Nigerian stew for those of us that know our regular stew. So for the meatballs, I'm going to continue by adding some canola oil into a frying pan, and you just need it to cover the bottom of the pot. You don't want it to be deep fried, just a little bit of oil. So the oil is for searing the meatballs so that they don't break up when you put them in the sauce. So I'm going to go ahead and add all the meatballs, and I like to put space in between them so I can be able to turn them. So you don't want them to burn, you just want them to kind of sear and brown a bit on the sides. So you need to turn them as often as you need to, and the fire should be set on medium heat so it doesn't get burnt. So as you can see, I turn them as often as I need to because I just want to get them seared on their sides. So we'll go ahead and check our stew. We want the stew to fry until the oil begins to come to the top, and when you taste it, it doesn't have the taste of fresh tomatoes. So I'm going to go ahead and bring out the meatballs because they are ready to go in the sauce. They are not ready for eating because it's just seared all around, but it's not cooked through. So don't be tempted. The smell is beautiful, but you don't want to eat it at this stage because it's not yet cooked through. So here we have our sauce, and the tomatoes, as you can see, is cooked, and the oil is coming up to the sides. So I'm going to go ahead and add the spices I have here: salt, curry, and thyme and bouillon powder, and mix it all up and allow it to boil for a little bit, fry for a little bit more. At this point you can taste it to see whether it has enough salt or you might want to add more seasoning to your taste. So here is the outcome of the meatball. It's beautifully seared all around. It looks a bit brown but not burnt. So I'm going to go ahead and add some water, just a little bit, to stop the frying. Now I want it to boil and allow the flavor of the spices to mix up together. So after it has boiled for a little bit, because the pot is too small, I want to separate the sauce. I want to take out a little bit so that the meatball doesn't boil over. But I'm still going to use the sauce, the quantity I need. I can always add more, as you will see. Or if you're using a bigger pot, you don't need to remove the stew. So you go ahead and put the meatballs into the sauce. So I want the sauce to cover the meatballs, so I'm going to go ahead and add some more sauce right back into the pot. This is all about managing the pot I have. So if you have a bigger pot, you don't need to remove any sauce. You can see how beautifully red the sauce is. So you can go ahead and add some more water so that the meatball will have enough water to boil in. So we'll cover it and allow it to cook through on medium heat. So after about 25 minutes or so, that was how long mine took. Yours doesn't have to take that long. I check it and I'm okay with it. So if you're not sure that it has cooked through, you can take one and open it up, cut it in two and look, and if it's cooked through, you will know. So meanwhile, as you can see on the other side, I'm boiling some water for the spaghettini. This is the one I used. So I used 2 handfuls. So I used 2 handfuls for this particular recipe. You can add as much as you need, as long as you have enough sauce to give your spaghetti the color you want. So I'm going to go ahead and bring out the meatballs because I need the sauce for making the spaghettini. I still have some sauce left over from the one I removed, and that's going to be for the meatball itself, in case you want to use it to eat white rice or any other thing. So as you can see, I'll allow the spaghetti to boil until it's soft. So this is it. I'm going to go ahead and drain the water, and then we're ready to mix it up with the sauce. So here we are. I've drained the water. So I'm going to go ahead and add the sauce. You can add as much as you need. Just add the quantity you need. I like my spaghettini or spaghetti to be moist, so I'm going to be adding almost all the sauce. I'll add it gradually until I'm satisfied with what it looks like. So you keep adding and stirring until you get the color and moistness you want. And then you can add the remaining meatball back into the pot with the sauce. So at this point, you can also taste your spaghettini or spaghetti and know whether you want to add any more seasoning. I'm going to add a little bit of water because I want it to simmer in the sauce so that the sauce can be incorporated into the spaghetti. I'm going to let it cook for like 7 minutes. And here we are. I added some frozen fresh vegetables. This is sweet green beans, peas, carrots, and sweet corn. So here we are. Here's our spaghetti in sauce, ready to be eaten and begging to be eaten. You need to try this out for real. So, and here is the outcome. This is heavenly. This is looking good. Let's see if it tastes as good. Of course, it tastes even better than it looks. And here's the meatball. So this is it. So if you want to try this out, go ahead and try it out and tell me what you think. You are gonna love this. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe, like, comment, and share. Thank you. Bye.